Hello, YouTube fitness peoples. You guys have lots of questions and comments for me, and I can't type out answers to all of you individually, which is good. The more of you there are, the more this is going to become true, obviously. Sometimes I have time to sit there and type answers to a lot of you guys, and I enjoy doing that, but realistically, sometimes I'm not going to have time for that, especially as, there's more of you. So let's address a few things from yesterday / today that I see quite a few of you asking about. Okay, I had quite a few questions about developing lats. Now, going over my favorites, if we're talking about wider lats, I really enjoy weighted pull-ups for that, especially heavy negatives. Get a nice medium to wide grip on a pull-up. If you have a weight belt or anything like that to hang extra weight from you, what you can do is just put a chair or a bench or something to step up on to bring you up to the top, and then just resist the weight as hard and as long as you can on the way down. And you can do rep after rep like that, and it doesn't take many sets of reps to get really sore that way, and your lats will grow wider from it. Experiment with that, okay? Blast them hard with a bunch of heavy negatives on a pull-up, and tell me if you don't have really sore lats, okay? For adding thickness, I like really heavy seated Yates rows, even cheat Yates rows, okay? Maybe one of these days I'll just walk you guys through a cool back workout that I do, which with me it's never the same twice, but maybe one of these days I'll just show you, when I'm hitting back, a cool sequence of things to do, just to give you some ideas if you guys like that idea. But for thickness, on your lats, yeah, Yates rows. Check out my feline pull-ups videos, number 1 and 2. I like those for adding some 3D thickness on the lats, as well as other parts of the back. What else for thickness do I really like? These heavy-ass Jefferson deadlifts and Jefferson rack pulls, especially heavy-ass Jefferson rack pulls, where you can pull some real weight. Try to go kind of a low rack pull if you can. And remember, if you've got, say, your left foot forward for a set, switch it up to the right foot forward, because one of your lats is getting hit much harder with one of those foot positions, and then when you switch it the other way, the other one gets hit harder. This is one of the things I love about a Jefferson rack pull or a Jefferson deadlift, especially the heavy rack pulls for building the upper and middle back. Because here's the thing: let's say you're pulling. Let's make it a nice even number. Let's say you're pulling 1,000 pounds. When one of your feet is forward, you're hitting one lat much harder than the other one. That means one lat is pulling the equivalent of more than 500 pounds. To me, it feels kind of like a 65%, 35% type of ratio, where if I'm doing 1,000-pound Jefferson rack pull, I'd say 650 pounds worth of it are being pulled on one of my lats. So that means that if you were trying to hit your lats that hard with, say, a rack pull that involves your feet being placed evenly with each other, you'd have to be pulling the equivalent of about 1,300 pounds to hit that lat as hard as you are with 1,000 pounds. So if those numbers sound too big, let's divide it in half. Let's say you're doing a 500-pound Jefferson rack pull, and 65% of the weight is hitting one of your lats based on which foot you have forward. So now you've got, what is that? What's half of 650? About 375, is it? Yeah. No. 325? Yeah. So I think it's like 325. So if you're doing a 500-pound Jefferson rack pull, that's the equivalent of about 325 pounds on one of your lats, which means you're hitting your lats as hard as if you were doing a 650-pound regular rack pull. Now, I'm not saying that Jefferson rack pulls are superior to standard rack pulls depending on which muscles you're trying to hit. I'm just saying for lats specifically, there's something very special about heavy Jefferson rack pulls. But remember, don't just stand the way you feel stronger and do it one way all the time. You will get crooked as fuck. You'll have one lat that's bigger, you'll have one side of your core that's bigger and stronger, you'll have one leg that's bigger and stronger. However many sets or reps you do with one footing, switch it up, put the other foot forward, get the opposite grip and do it the other way. I hope that makes sense and you understand what I'm saying. It's pretty basic. If I didn't word it right, hit me up. But anyway, yeah, Jefferson rack pulls hit the lats. They do, in a special kind of a way. Try it. Let's see, shoulder size. Boulder shoulders, if you want bigger shoulders. Now, me personally, my shoulder genetics are really good to where my front and rear delts grow really well just from pulling and pressing movements. So me, I do really well just like, you know, heavy overhead pressing is really good for your front delts. Then again, I'm shoulder dominant. That's why my upper chest wouldn't develop until I invented exercises that got my shoulders out of the way. For rear delts, mine, you know, mine pop. Well, you can't really, whatever. I'll show you sometime. I have really good rear delts, and it's really just for me, just pulling movements. I feel them get hit really hard again on things like weighted pull-ups, especially heavy negatives. So when you're going to hit your lats for width with a heavy negative pull-ups, where you stand up on a bench and you have a bunch of weight chained to you, and then you take your feet out from under you and you resist as hard as you can while that weight's overpowering you. Not only will your lats get hit really hard, but your rear delts. And if they don't, let me know. I mean, everybody's physiology is a little bit different. If we need to go into isolation movements for rear delts and front delts, we can, but there's lots of information out there on that stuff, guys. It's not like it's a mystery. There's plenty of ways to isolate those things if you need that. But for me personally, my shoulders, my front and rear delts grow really well from heavy ass pressing and heavy ass pulling movements. And then medial delts, okay, I have some videos on that, you know, my powerlifting for medial delts and no dumbbells, no problem. That kind of shows you, those two videos will show you guys how I like to hit my medial head of my deltoids, you know, for just wider shoulder cap. And in all fairness, I've been slacking on that. I could have a wider shoulder cap. I'm doing pretty good, but my upper traps are so dominant that if I don't watch it, they can get out of control and make me look narrower than I am, even though I'm actually very wide. So focusing on your medial delts is a good way to just aesthetically make yourself look way more badass. You can't go wrong with regular old dumbbell lateral raises, okay? Yesterday I ended up doing a medial delt workout. Now I don't have dumbbells, but I have plates laying around, so I just went 45, 25, 10, 45, 25, 10 supersets on medial delt raises. Okay, I did 21 sets or something total, okay, and I blazed through them. I did 45-pound plates, 25-pound plates, 10-pound plates, and then when I started to fatigue, I dropped it down at the end to where I was just doing 25-pound plates, 10-pound plates, and 5-pound plates with no break. When you get to where 5 pounds is just burning the shit out of your shoulders, that's a pretty good superset. Super duper set, whatever you want to call it. But you can't go wrong with regular old dumbbell or holding anything in your hand and doing lateral raises. If you get your form right. Now this is something that I learned from practicing what bodybuilders are so big on, which is mind-muscle connection. Throwing a weight around, that's one thing, but knowing how to feel exactly where you're contracting and putting that effort and controlling that, that's how you build bigger muscles. This is why bodybuilders can build the biggest muscles without lifting the heaviest weights, because the mind-muscle connection is what they're focusing on. They're actually making that moderate weight harder to lift, instead of when you power lift, right? You find when you're just trying to lift the heaviest thing you can, you find whatever position, you get as many muscles involved as you can, whatever it takes to move that weight, right? Bodybuilding's completely different, and maybe I'll do some videos just getting into that when I get into more of a moderate weight, higher volume kind of a stage in my training. I can really explain better what I learned from bodybuilders about mind-muscle connection, how to actually develop the muscle you want to with a particular exercise instead of just moving the weight and wondering why it's not even growing the muscles you want it to. Other ones are popping out. Let me know what you think about that, guys, because I can get into that deeper if you want to. So yeah, that kind of covers shoulders for me. Let me know what you think, and more questions are welcome always. Let's keep expanding upon anything where your guys' interest is, okay? I'll share anything I believe can help you. So what else? Been getting a lot of questions about supplements, okay? Now, when I talk about supplements, it's going to be about things that improve your health and vitality, okay? I'm not talking about the supplements you get in a GNC store that are supposed to make you buff. Now, I will say this about one, creatine, okay? If you get good gains from creatine and you don't have any kidney problems, it's probably worth it for you. If you don't get good gains from creatine, do not put that shit through your body. It is a lot of extra work for your kidneys. I don't care what they say. Now, we've heard of non-responders, right? Well, there's an equal and opposite to everything. This guy is a super responder, okay? I've done many creatine cycles in the past. I don't use it anymore because my kidneys are also sensitive to it, and I ended up getting kidney stones multiple times while doing a creatine cycle. But I blew the fuck up too. And I'm talking like 20 pounds and not bloat, okay? Just as lean as I was, and keeping like 10 pounds of it easy. I don't know what that is, but creatine works supersonic good for me, and yet it's also hard on my kidneys. So I'm avoiding it now. You know, I'm pretty fucking big, and I'm not concerned with being as big as I possibly can anyway. So I'm happy to make slow gains and just, you know, put it where I want it type thing. You know, a few pounds of muscle in the right place makes you look amazing. But what I'm saying about creatine is it's one of these things where different people respond entirely differently to it. If you get good gains from it, you know, I'm not telling you not to use it. I'm just saying watch your kidneys. Despite what, you know, the so-called studies would like to say, it is definitely extra work for your kidneys, if nothing else. Just know that. Now, let's talk about supplements that I do use. Now, here comes a disclaimer, okay? I use supplements in an experimental way. I take full responsibility for that, and I would not try to blame anybody if I hurt myself doing it. That being said, so far my results have been very positive. If any of you are going to try any experimental supplement strategy, that's on you, not me, okay? You have to accept responsibility. If you're going to experiment on a control group of 1, you have to accept responsibility for that. So, that being said, the disclaimer being out of the way, I am not responsible for anybody's use of anything, okay? You are. So let me share. Let's start with vitamin D, because this is a big one. Vitamin D3, okay? Now, the name is misleading. It's called vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is actually not a vitamin. It's a hormone. It's a hormone that your body produces when the sun hits your skin enough of your skin for long enough. And the sun does more than that for your health. Check out my 4 elements videos if you're interested. But vitamin D3 is not a vitamin. It's a hormone. It's an anabolic hormone, okay? Not just to bone, but also to muscle. I'll go ahead and attach a link below because some of you right now are like, no way, and others are like, wow, excited. I'll attach a link below. But here's the thing you need to know. If you're going to do any high-dose vitamin D like me, you need to also take high-dose vitamin K2, and you need to take them both with oil because they're fat-soluble. And you need to have a shit ton of magnesium in your diet. If you don't, you will become more magnesium deficient than you already are, and you're in a society where everybody's magnesium deficient. And magnesium deficiency can lock you up and drop you dead. Okay? So, again, these things are not just for anybody to go willy-nilly on. A person needs to have some understanding. You need to do some research, okay? I would highly suggest checking out my supplements for a toxic and depleted age video. It's somewhat entertaining, guys. It's not as boring as you think. And there's a lot of important shit that you should know there. So, this being said, let me share. I take, and I'm not telling anybody to do this, okay? You experiment at your own risk, with your own responsibility. You hear me? I've said it enough times now. I take over 100,000 units, internal units of vitamin D3 every day. And I've been doing this for months. I don't know how many months. And I take an extremely high amount of vitamin K2. And I take down a lot of magnesium every day. Now, if you take let me just say this. I've gotten stronger. I've gotten leaner. I've gotten to where I've noticed an anabolic effect in my muscles. Now, we're not talking about some ridiculous, crazy, insane thing, but it's noticeable. It's real. In my skeletal system, okay? I used to have aches and pains and things from lifting 1,000 pounds or more. Now, sometimes I lift, like crazy amounts of weight that people probably, I'm not going to even say it because I don't want people being distracted and trying to make it into a competition against other people, because that's not what I'm here for. I lift crazy amounts of weight sometimes, put it on my frame, and a few minutes later it's like it didn't even happen. Okay, there's no aches and pains or anything. Now, what I'm saying is from my experience, the physical integrity of my system, okay, tendons, ligaments, the points where muscles attach to bones that used to get pretty damn sore, my recovery, my abilities there, my capacities there, everything's just way up, okay? Vitamin D3 high dose, vitamin K2 high dose, magnesium high dose. Please go educate yourself on my supplements videos, okay? There are links below it about the right sources of all these things. You need to educate yourself and not just buy any crap and throw it together and think it's going to work like this. I have thousands and thousands of hours of research, guys. This is why, I do things that other people don't do. This is not something that's meant to be a quick fix that you're just going to go imitate what I'm saying here and magic's going to happen. You need to take full responsibility for yourself, and you need to educate yourself, and you need to really understand these things before you start just throwing them in you. I'm not some GNC salesman saying buy this bottle of magic pills and you're going to get buff. I actually care about you, okay? So I wouldn't do that. I don't want any of you wrecking any part of yourself or throwing nutritional imbalances that you already have further out of whack and hurting yourself, okay? You really need to understand these things. I'm saying educate yourself. I'm just sharing that the kind of supplements I use for anabolic effect, not something you've heard about. I don't go buy the local crap at the local store, the next thing in a bottle, because I've educated myself enough to know that I don't want the side effects and the destruction to my body that comes with quick fixes like that, okay? I believe in building things that have a true foundation of vitality and integrity, so the long-term picture, you get to continue on your journey instead of some kind of short-term effect that ends up costing you. Okay, enough said. Diet-wise, guys, my diet's so far outside the box, like everything else about me. I don't think most of you would really be ready to try to make the jump to the way I eat. So when you're asking me questions about diet, try to be specific. Tell me like what kinds of things you eat, and then I can probably rearrange it for you into better food combinations or timing, or give you some ideas to try based on your goals. So give me specifics, because my diet, unless you're ready to become an intermittent faster and eat zero animal products, my diet's not really relevant to you probably at this point. And if you are interested in making big jumps into something new like that, let me know. I would love to help, okay? But those are big steps. Watch my video, Zero Animal Products Diet but Not a Vegan. Go watch that diet, or that video if you're interested. And then my intermittent fasting videos, I have 2 of those. But if those of you talking to me about diet, I think you're going to want to be more specific, asking me what it is you want to know. If you want me to rearrange your diet for you, I could certainly probably help, and some supplements to fill some holes, some things like that. But you got to give me a detailed thing of what you eat and when and stuff like that. You know, you got to give me a template to work with, to adjust for you, and tell me what you're looking for. You want to be leaner, you want to be bigger, you want to feel more vitality. You know, you give me specifics, and then, you know, I can really work with you based on that. Let's see what else. You know, some of you, I'm hearing things like, oh man, I feel like my genetics are bad, and so and so's making better gains than me faster, and natural bodybuilding sucks, and I'm not here to argue or put anybody down. Basically, what I would say is, natural bodybuilding, okay? In this day and age, it almost seems like a contradiction, because the word bodybuilding is a word that's owned, and it's been owned for a long time by people who push the envelope of science to the very edge, okay? They put everything they can find into their bodies and into their bloodstreams to see how swole they can get. That's the game of bodybuilding. Now, if you want to take some of the principles of bodybuilding and apply it to yourself without taking all the drugs, I think that that's great. However, if you're going to compare yourself to people who are, 150 pounds thicker than you because of all the drugs they take, that's probably going to be discouraging. Those guys can gain 100 pounds in a couple years probably, okay? Now, me, 20 years it's taken, and I am not built anything like those guys. Yes, very good muscle development, but if I was built like what you guys call a bodybuilder, I'd hardly be able to walk, okay? I'd be like, 380 pounds or something. So we're talking about entirely different things here. If you think that your genetics are bad, that's a defeated mindset, okay? That's a victimhood mindset. And your mind is a powerful builder of your body. I would honestly say some of the content under my metaphysical playlist could actually help you if you're open to it. And remember, if anything over there seems way too far out, forget that part for now. You don't have to believe any particular part of it. Just listen and see what you get from it that benefits you. Take the parts that benefit you and toss out the parts that don't make any sense, okay? That's my 2 cents on that. If you're feeling like discouraged, okay, I'd say look under that playlist. There are some things in there that can help if you're open to it. Because a discouraged mindset, like your body, you guys, I'm going to tell you a little secret here that some of you may not know. I don't think most people in this world know this. Your cells are listening to you, to your thoughts and your feelings all the time. You're like the god of their universe, okay? So the way you're thinking, the kind of thoughts you're having and the kind of feelings you're having, your cells in your body are responding accordingly, okay? So that's the good news, because when you become more in touch with your real self, the divine thing that you are, and become more empowered, you can retrain your cells, okay, to perform at a much higher level. Now, for some of you, that's just going to sound like, bullshit, like just tell me workouts, whatever. So I'm not going to go on and on about that, but for those of you interested, check out the metaphysical content on this channel. Try to open your mind and heart. You'll find that there's a lot of power you have access to that you're not accessing right now. Okay, enough said. Next topic. What else did we cover? Shoulders, back. Trying to remember if there's any more hot topics I haven't been able to answer some of you on. Just remember, guys, I'm open-minded, I'm open-hearted. I'm not going to judge you for how different your diet is. I'm not going to judge you for how different your beliefs are. Believe me, guys, I wouldn't be here if I was going to do that. I wouldn't have, if I was just one more person coming to fight with you and tell you you got to do things my way, how would that be any different than anything else that's out there? Okay? That would be pointless to me. So, no matter who you are and where you stand on any of this, I love and accept you. Even if you're just here to give me the middle finger, I love and accept you. Okay? All opinions are welcome. Let's keep the conversation open. Let's keep expanding upon all these things, okay? Alright, I gotta go figure out what I'm gonna do today. Maybe I'm gonna load up 1,000 pounds on the dead squat and go one notch lower than I did last time. A strategy, okay? A strategy for working to where you can literally learn to lift a heavier weight. But that's another video. Get into all that another time. So let me know what you guys think. Based on your interests and where you're at on all this, you know, we'll keep expanding upon those topics. We'll update it. This was me trying to comb over the things that seem most relevant to you guys right now. So let me know. Your feedback helps me direct my efforts, direct my energy and focus on helping you guys with whatever you would, you know, like the most. Help or encouragement or inspiration or information or whatever. So, let me know, guys. Respect and appreciation and love to all of you. Let's go tear some barbells apart, shall we?